Good afternoon, St Michael's. Tom here, recording in Chiswick, walking around the streets of Chiswick, taking my daily exercise. I hope you're doing that as well. Hope you've been getting all the good information and resources that we've put up on the website. Hope that's going to be helpful to you. We are in day 9-10 of physical distancing. I use that phrase, which I took from a friend of mine who used it in Hong Kong quite recently on his online service, and I liked it. We are physical distancing, we're not social distancing, far from it. We are physical distancing and standing in social solidarity with each other. That's definitely the case. And in that little extract that he used online, my friend Andrew, he made the point that our language creates culture, which I think is a really interesting concept. So the things that we say, the words that we use, forms and shapes the culture in which we live. And it made me think a little bit about what language am I using, what language are you using to define and to talk about this time at the moment. Because if we're using derogatory language, then that's going to shape the story and the culture of this time. So for example, culture says that we are in lockdown, and that word, fascinatingly, is a derogatory word, isn't it? It's a negative word of associations with incarceration and being in prison and being a victim. And maybe that is what you feel, but I think when we use it a lot, it does shape the way in which we think about the time. And I was reminded, lockdown, we as Christians, we are not in lockdown, are we? I reminded in Galatians 5, verse 1, Paul writes, he says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened by the yoke of slavery." Isn't that amazing? Jesus has set us free. We can know freedom in this time. We can know his goodness and the freedom that he offers us. And we can live in freedom even if and when we is, as culture says, in lockdown. So this can be, in this time, however difficult it is might be for us, however hard it is, however much we're grieving the losses, and we need to grieve those losses, however hard that is, the main story of Jesus setting us free by his work on the cross, allow that to define our story and our reality at this time. And I wonder if we do that sooner rather than later, as we look back on this time, we might begin to see this time in a positive way. Can we actually do that? Is that a possible thing to do, that we look at this time, maybe in years to come, we look back on this time and think, hey, that was the time where I reconnected with someone I haven't spoken to for years. That was the time when I started a new hobby. That was the time when I connected with my children in a way that I've never connected with them before. That was a time when my prayer life deepened in a rich way, and I built new habits and had a new sense of life. And I wonder whether in doing that we reframe this story, not in the way that culture wants us to frame it, but in a new way, in a way that is defined by Jesus himself, who has set us free. So that's my prayer for today, that you would know that it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Have a great afternoon. Bye.